Starting something new as an adult sounds really simple until you actually try to do it. And then suddenly you're overthinking everything and second-guessing yourself and feeling really awkward and out of place, like everyone else knows what they're doing except for you. It's frustrating and it's uncomfortable, and a lot of people quietly give up at that stage. I've been seeing this play out in a really interesting way through golf, which is something that I have been learning recently and honestly getting a little obsessed with. So I sat down with Shayain, who is a golf pro and YouTube creator who works with beginners all the time, to talk about what's really going on in that moment and also what actually helps people to push through it. Because if you can understand this, it becomes a lot easier to stick with the things that matter to you instead of walking away from them. And this goes way beyond golf. This shows up anytime that you try to change something in your life or start something new or step into a version of yourself that you're not quite used to yet. So let's get into it.
All right, Shayain, how are you?
I am great and very excited. Got a mic in front of me for the first time.
Very fancy mic.
Yes, yeah. Very fancy.
Yeah, I know. This is great. This is going to be so fun. I've really been looking forward to this conversation because we've got some juicy things to talk about. Obviously, one of the big things that I talk about on my channel is doing new things as an adult, and how hard that is.
It is.
And as a golf pro, a golf coach, I'm sure that this is something that you see all the time.
Every day.
Yes. Lots of people are interested in picking up golf. Me, I am one of these who's learning on my golf learning journey, and it's hard. And there's a lot of barriers. And so we're going to talk about all of that. What makes it so hard? Why do people hesitate? Why do we get in our own heads about these kinds of things? Mm-hmm. And see if we can break down, what's going on with this. So let's start with you telling me, I would love to know, what do you notice when somebody is just starting out they've decided that they want to learn golf for whatever reason. So what are some things that you hear people saying?
Before even hearing, you can just see it. Like people walk up really tense. They're always kind of like looking down. And I would say some of the main features when they're coming or wanting to learn or when they're really stressed, they all have their shoulders up to their ear, even when they're holding the club and they just want to do really well. And in a way, I kind of blame society because I'm we're all trying to be perfect in a game, in a sport that you literally cannot be perfect at. And I think that's probably what keeps people obsessed or wanting to keep going back to learn and keep trying, because you can't really master it. If you master it, you're mastering yourself in the course, and it doesn't exist. So this perfect score doesn't exist, and you're constantly chasing this perfect, illusion. And the sport is imperfect, essentially. So I think that's when you hear someone I've been playing for 40 years, you're I don't even know what you've been doing for 40 years. Is a long time to be playing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that obsession of trying to just get better. And there's always room to improve. So even if you hear some a professional, for example, on tour that's shot the lowest score ever, they will always tell you the putt that they missed to make it one stroke lower, whatever that number is for them. Right. Every single golf pro, if you speak to Tiger, you speak to Nelly Korda, anybody will tell you that one or those two putts that they missed to break their record or to break the course record. It's literally crazy.
Yeah, but it's human nature, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. I think I heard on a podcast once somebody was talking about the thing about golf is that the best golfer in the world wants to get better at golf.
Correct. I couldn't agree more.
Right.
Yes.
And so we're all, even the best in the world, are chasing this illusion of perfect and wanting to get better and better. But to pull that back to the beginner. So you come to it with all of that on your shoulders.
Right? So it's the nerves in your body is one thing. Mm-hmm. So whenever anybody comes to any of my clinics, I mostly try and my target is heavily women, because I feel women play this very insane narrative in their head of, do I belong? what should I wear? Like, it starts usually from your house. Before you even showed up, I might have signed up to a golf event because a friend told me to sign up, or I'm like, I'm going to do something different. I have a new goal this year that I will try one new thing, and it's going to be golf because it's outside, it's with nature, and maybe because everyone's doing it, right? It could be different ways for people to start. And then you're in your house looking in your closet and you're like, what am I going to wear? And so you start there with the panic. So the panic starts, what am I wearing? Am I going to belong based on the clothing that I'm wearing? Am I doing something wrong? So it's like doing something wrong, the embarrassment of showing up with the appropriate clothing, all of that is like behind the scenes before you even get the courage and the right brain cells to physically show up. So now you're physically there and you're like, am I going to be embarrassed about my club? So there's like a million factors, literally, Kim, that will go through someone's journey before they come. So whenever I host any of my clinics or any of like my social gatherings for golf, I always start with a round of applause for showing up, because to show up to a golf event is the hardest thing you can do. Yeah. And then after that, it's kind of like, leave it to me. You're going to have the best time. And now I'm going to curate it to where your shoulders up here are going to be relaxed. I let everybody know that you suck, because you know what? I suck too. And everybody sucks at golf. So it's almost like helping all of those things that are stacked in your head to tell you that it's hard. I don't belong. What am I doing here? I'm so nervous. I'm trying to like chip away at each barrier you've told yourself. So then when you are there, you're like, right, actually, she can't hit either. And I had this assumption that everyone's going to know what they're doing, but really nobody knows what they're doing.
That is such a huge insight. I mean, I know that was a big thing for me. Like in the beginning, because it feels, I mean, the piece about belonging is huge, right? Like you just, because golf especially, and I mean, so many other pursuits are like this too, but we're talking about golf, when it's so coded as like this, it's a world in itself, right? Correct. So there's like the clubhouse, there's the etiquette, there's the equipment, there's...
The layers are insane.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. And it feels like everyone else has got it figured out. And you are looking like a complete idiot. Correct. Because you're turning up to this thing that you don't know anything about. You're not an insider. None of us like to feel like an outsider. And so how do you even start to crack through that? So you're absolutely right. Just showing up.
Showing up is hard.
Is so hard because it's such an act of vulnerability. When you're beginning something new, you are revealing the fact that you don't really know what you're doing. And that's hard for us to do, especially as adults. Kids are fine. Like kids are not supposed to know what they're doing in new situations and things. But as an adult, you're supposed to have some stuff figured out. So if you're presenting yourself in a new environment, you should probably have it figured out, or else you're going to look like an idiot. And none of us want that. So yeah, it's a huge barrier just to even get show
up to the golf course.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably sit in their cars a lot of the times, also second guessing everything. So it's like the chatter that goes on in our heads before I think you start anything new, or when you show up to a new space. It could be, let's say, for example, for me, I don't think I'm the best like artist, but like let's say everybody wanted to go and like they have the wine and you draw and whatever, like I would feel really embarrassed. Like I'd be trying to practice at home, and a lot of that happens. A lot of people that come to my clinics try and binge a bunch of YouTube videos, and half the time they're my YouTube videos that they have watched to then show up to my events to be like, okay, kind of know. And I am, as a female in this industry that I teach it, I'm super aware of it. So I try my hardest to just like let just any and everyone know that you're going to be okay. And if one shot even goes up in the air, huge accomplishment.
Right. Yeah.
And so they're like, are you kidding me? I need all of them to go up. And so then I start helping them set like realistic goals so that eventually, you know, once they've calmed down, we've given ourselves a round of applause, we've shown up, they're a bit more relaxed. Like tell them a few key things, like don't have your shoulders up, let that stress go from the day because we don't care. We're just trying, you know. So I try and use all like the positive, I guess, affirmations to try and let them relax a little bit. And then just some fun things. Like when you're holding the club, if I start seeing people like with white knuckles, and I'm like, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, if this is like a 10, you're about to punch somebody, I need you at a 5. And they're like, I'm going to lose the club.
Right,
and I'm like,
it's going to go flying off.
yeah. And I'm like, I will like pay your next lesson if the club goes flying. I've never had one person.
Have you ever seen that?
No. So we are such, in a way, control freaks, if you know what I mean, and everything we want to do, and golf will expose that. And so you think I have to hit really, really hard for that ball to go up. It's actually I need my hands to be much softer for the ball to go up. So the frame of mind that I try and help people to like explain this, everything opposite is what you want to do. Golf is that insane. So I think harder and tighter means further. No, relax and let go. It's like, it's literally everything opposite that you think is what golf kind of like requires you. But I guess to answer your question, it starts from your house. You've now transitioned to show up. I've welcomed you. We're excited. And now you are your biggest critic because you could potentially be comparing yourself to the next person. And maybe that person's had like 20 lessons and been playing for 10 years. And now Kim has showed up with, she's feeling confident, but maybe had 2 lessons. And you're like, well, why is that girl's ball going up in the sky? And I'm like, and we look here, and we look internal. We're going to work on why your ball. And if you speak to that girl who has had 20 lessons and had been playing for 10 years, she probably thinks she still sucks. And my ball is not going dead straight. And that is probably the most common and the phrase that I hear the most. I want my ball to go far and straight.
Right. Well, because...
And then I look at them and I say, me too.
Right.
But it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is totally the thing. And this is like the perfectionistic tendencies is that we think... Because I think that maybe golf and anything else, when you look at it from the outside, it seems like, okay, it's a pretty straightforward thing. I just like hit this little white
the ball that doesn't
get
move.
It going there. It's just stationary waiting for me.
Exactly.
But what I love that you said is, and this is one of the reasons why I'm obsessed with golf, is because it absolutely reveals so much of what is going on in your head. And you can't lie. Like it can tell when you are like stressed, tense, gripping too hard. And so it really is an act of mindfulness. It's like that perfect combo of being relaxed and focused. So you have to be focused, but also relaxed at the same time.
Right. And then I think 1000% yes to all of that. And if you get the right fundamentals early on when you are learning, I think it sets you up for success for later on as you continue your golf journey. And it's a full journey that you have to go on with this sport. And there's some days where you're like I'm the best in the world. And then it could be like, I feel like I've never held a club before. And that is so common and so normal. And before we started, I was kind of telling you, I watched Rory's, I guess we're calling it a documentary or whatever. About him winning the Masters. Yeah. And I didn't know that he had tried 17 times to win the Masters.
Before he did. Yeah.
Can you
that's
imagine
crazy. Showing up.
And every year, same time, the world is looking at you.
Yeah.
17 times. And every time you fail.
Yeah.
And you still have to show up because that's the last major you need to check off your list to be considered the great. One of the greats.
Right. So,
crazy.
I mean, what is it that is in a person that makes them keep showing up like that? Because I think it's the same thing. I was going to ask you about, we've talked about the beginner who is feeling like a total fish out of water, is showing up, feeling vulnerable, not really thinking that they belong there. And so then assuming you can overcome those hurdles and hopefully they have a coach like you who's like, it's going to be fine. We are all just learning. My ball doesn't go straight either.
Exactly.
But then what is it that allows people, because some people will keep going. So when you're a beginner as an adult and you're learning something new, of course, it's not one and done. It's not like show up once and be like, oh, this is my thing now. I can totally do this. So how do you go
to the next level?
And what do you notice in people who start to learn this sport and it's not just, they're not just the beginner stage, but they actually start to progress and they keep coming back and they keep, learning more about themselves, about what they need to do.
Okay, so I can start off by saying when let's say someone's come to me and they've said to me that, oh, I've had few lessons, could be between 5 to 10, 20, doesn't matter. And I've been, hacking at it since COVID, for example. So now it's 6 years in. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because a lot of people came into golf as beginner golfers because of COVID, right? It gave them time, space to figure that out. Yes. Okay, so I'm like, okay, 6 years. And they're expecting that their once a month or once every 3 months of a driving range session should now be shown on the golf course because the number 6 years or 5 years seems like it's a big number. Like I went to college. You go to college for 4 years, but you show up every day to school, right? For like hours and you're studying all of that. But for some reason in our head, because other sports have the forgiveness of not exposing you if you don't practice consistently for you to be like, okay.
Right.
Like, for example, you played tennis or if you were athletic or if you could run really fast, like you can get to the ball, right? Sure, your ball might go high or you might figure a few things out. Or basketball, you can figure out dribbling after like 10, 15 minutes of doing it. Golf is I feel like it's one of the only sports where it does not reflect. Whatever you've practiced the past 5 years, if you are not doing it consistently, 3 to 4 days a week, you should never compare yourself to anywhere close to what the professionals are doing. Like nowhere close. And so you should probably compare yourself to somebody else who is practicing at the driving range once every 3 months.
Right.
Who maybe plays 5 rounds of golf a year. So you know what I mean? We're never comparing in golf apples to apples. Everyone is always comparing the imaginary, where they should be and what the reality of the game requires you to be.
So do you find that people who are able to kind of get over that and keep going and not really beat themselves up are better at not comparing themselves to others?
Yeah.
Like, is that a skill that you really need to cultivate?
It is something where, okay, you've had enough lessons, you've been on the golf course enough, and now your goal, people come to me and say, this summer, I want to be really good.
Yeah.
Okay, as you know, that's a pretty vague statement to me. Like, what is really good to you? So I then channel into Kim. What is really good to you? You want to play 10 rounds this summer and you would like to, have less than 100. I don't know. Whatever that goal is for you, you got to tell me what your goal is.
Yeah.
What are you currently at? And in 10 rounds, where do you want to be? And then we can set up like a plan for you and say, hey, you need to practice driving range one day, chipping and putting is really important. And maybe I would do once a week an actual lesson to tweak things out. And then ultimately you have to go on the golf course and actually what you've practiced, you have to actually put it on the course, because just being on the driving range, as you're aware by playing the sport, does not articulate on what's happening on the golf course. Because driving range is always a flat surface.
Yes.
And on the golf course,
never is.
Nothing is really flat besides maybe putting, but that's also like halfway a slope going on.
Yeah.
So taking maybe the skill form and doing it on the course, I sometimes feel is more important than just grinding it on the range the whole time. Like actually trying it out is really important. So it's very dependent on the person and how much time they're willing to put to become better and what is better for them. If it just means shaving off 1 or 2 strokes, incredible. Does it mean, you know what, my goal this year is just to figure out my driver.
Yeah.
Because that driver in those bushes on the right, every single round, it's driving me insane. And guess what? Let's fix the driver.
Yeah. So I think you're right. Like I what I'm hearing is that being really specific with your goal. So because everybody is different in terms of what they want to achieve, and like what Rory McIlroy wants to achieve is very different. He kept showing up to the Masters because he wanted to win it.
Correct.
The rest of us have very different goals for our golf game than that. Yeah. But you still have to get, even though you're not aiming for that, you still have to get specific on what it is that you want to get out. And of course, this is for any pursuit. Anything that you're trying, any skill that you're trying to achieve is, what do you want to get out of it? What is a win for you? Because as we talked about, there is no end game. There is no like ultimate.
Correct.
So you have to define that for yourself.
Like, what is that? Yes.
Yeah. So you have something to work for, because it's if you're just kind of
endless
like
pursuit otherwise.
then there's no satisfaction in that.
Yep.
And
that's the frustration when they come to me.
Yeah.
So when I have this like real talk with them on what this looks like, I'm like, you want to be really good. Okay, now you define what really good is. I'm like, are you willing to put 3 or 4 days a week?
Yeah.
Before summer like starts to put in this work now? And no, I work full time. I'm like, correct. We all work full time. So therefore we don't have, this is not our full-time job to play the sport. So this is where I'm like, you can always do like little things in the house that I teach about, like grip and
I love that you
putting
do that.
and
That's so cool.
and little things you can do to just have like second nature. Kind of like, now do you think about how you brush your teeth? Like when you hold the toothbrush? No, as a child, you are learning how to hold and get every tooth. But now it's like you could do it with your eyes closed, right? So it's the same concept. There's a few things you can do in your house to create that muscle memory. So when you're out on the golf course, you're not trying to remember after 3 months of not having touched a golf club or a ball, what that putter feels like. Because you've been doing it in the house, let's say like every day for like 10 minutes. And I think that's actually more important than trying to show up on a course or trying to show up multiple times like in any kind of practice facility. Is if you do it 10 minutes every day, you'll see so much more progress than trying to carve out 3 hours of grinding, hitting range balls.
Yeah, consistency is more important than intensity, I find. With a lot
great
of
way
things.
of saying that. Absolutely.
So, but what do you think is the difference between people who actually do that and people who don't? So, because it sounds really easy, like just 10 minutes in your house and, let's just do, anyone can do that. Even really busy people with full-time jobs can find 10 minutes, but lots of people don't. So what do you think is what do you find is the difference between?
I think that golf also, it's a personality thing. Like, are you a person who enjoys being around other people? Or are you great with your own company? So if you kind of hear, because I didn't really know this about Rory, so let's just use him as an example because it's just fresh off my mind. He's an only child. Oh. So is Tiger. Even though Tiger has like step siblings, but he really grew up as an only child. Yeah. Golf Golf is a sport that I have found that people that like to be with their own thoughts or people that are happy to just be with themselves on a driving range for hours or chipping or putting, they love that. I am a social golfer. Right. So I love being around other people, which is why I got into coaching, right? I love to teach and I love being around people. So like double combo, incredible. So I have now like observed a bunch of people. If you are a type of person who truly enjoys being around other people, what I will tell you is, Kim, I feel like you know what you need to do? Find a driving range buddy. Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's your son, your husband, another girl you've met through like an event that I've hosted or that you've been to or any of that. If you find a driving range buddy, a couple things happen. You can't say no as much. You don't make as many excuses not to show up. Yes. And then, everyone's days are just so busy or you sometimes become lazy and you make excuses like, oh, not today and not today. And then not today ends up being like 2 months later. Right. So if you have a driving range buddy where you have a Tuesday at 10 a.m. Accountability partner. And that gives you the human connection because golf could be really boring.
Yes, if you like to be around a lot of people.
So for someone like myself who likes to be around people, having a standing Tuesday lesson with my younger brother was the key to my success to learning the sport.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I played all the team sports, volleyball, basketball, even tennis. In high school, you had a team you played with or you hit with. You were never just by yourself, just grinding it with a coach ever when you were in high school, learning. So to me, having, and then you kind of compare yourself or you want to do better. The person pushes you, just indirectly pushes you. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that you have to be a certain personality to push yourself every time you're practicing alone.
Right. Yes.
So in my humble opinion, I think that if you wanted to take your golf game to another level, but if you know your personality, I think that you definitely have to be a person who has to find a buddy.
Yeah.
that helps, or some kind of a connection that makes you keep going back to that range. Maybe it's like the person who checks you in, or maybe on a Tuesday you always see the same people, and indirectly you guys end up socializing and becoming like a social hangout at the range kind of thing. Or you get yourself a lesson, and you have to.
It's
you
booked.
Paid.
It's booked and you've paid. Right.
You are not showing up. You've paid.
Yeah, like you're investing
something.
So either investing in time, relationship, financially, like
correct,
like making putting some skin in the game. Right?
Out of 10 lessons or 5 lessons, you may miss one.
Right.
I have never had anybody miss more than one lesson because then they're like, "Hey, can I just cancel the whole thing because I can't make it? This is a conflict of time or whatever it is."
Yeah, those are great tips. I am curious. What do you think? So what changes in someone when they start to like become a golfer? Like when they would actually have that transition between, I'm kind of like beginning,
social?
I don't really know what I'm doing here, to actually, if someone were to ask them, are you a golfer? They say, I'm a golfer. So for example, I just signed up for these group lessons. And when I walked in on the first day, the guy said to me, hi, and, introduced ourselves. And he said, are you a golfer? And I said, yes, I'm a golfer. But that's because I have been training myself to claim that identity, to actually be like, and not qualify it and be like, yes, I'm a golfer, but I'm just beginning. Or yes, I'm a golfer, but I'm not very good. Or, all the things that we do and we say to sort of excuse ourselves or, soften things, but just to say, yes, I'm a golfer. So do you find that that there's like a point when people are able to start actually claiming that?
You know what I find really interesting? What an interesting question this golf coach asked you.
Yeah.
Because it's a very vague question to ask somebody.
Subjective completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 9.8 out of 10 times, a woman will say no.
Yeah.
And I am so proud of you. It's literally what I try and like get people to do and say is to say yes. And then get him to ask you more questions. Like then he should be asking, like, what's your handicap?
Right.
How often have you had lessons? How often do you play? He's trying to like pull more out of you. Mm-hmm. But if I had 10 women here, and even if somebody had been playing golf for 6 years because it started in COVID and had played like 5 or 10 times, a year golf, they would still say, no, I'm not a golfer. I'm still new. They're a beginner. And the question is really hard because it's like, how are you seeing yourself? And I'm proud because you're said like, yeah, I am. I have gotten the lessons. I've done the work. I'm doing it. And the journey is always going to be there. And I'm a golfer because that's how I want to claim myself that I am.
Right. Because nobody can tell you
that you're not.
Correct. So you can just say it
I'm
if
a
you
golfer.
want to. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to pull
out. There's
out
no rule book.
Yeah. There's no. And it's such an interesting thing I find because in some pursuits, there are absolute, there's rubber stamps.
Are you a doctor?
I was just going to say. So in medical school,
yes,
there you have to jump through some hoops. You have to do some stuff. And then the world proclaims, yes, you can now call yourself a doctor. Yeah. But there is no same kind of criteria or board of approval or anything to say that you're a golfer. Or, I'm an artist or I'm a singer or I'm a horseback rider or whatever you want to claim. So it's up to you.
It's up to you. And if you've only done it once, you can say I'm a golfer.
You can.
Because I've done it once.
Yeah. And defy somebody to challenge you on that if they want. It'll be an interesting conversation, right?
Yeah.
But as adults, we are conditioned out of claiming these things, I feel, because this is how all of our structures, school, institutions, everything like that is external approval. You get the check mark on your papers, you get the gold stars, you get the teacher gives you your report card. People other than you are telling you what you can do
and who you are,
what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. And so I think I take a real stand for this as an adult to just claim the things rather than wait to be given this stamp of approval by somebody else.
But me telling you that if you're a golfer or not, correct?
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't need anyone else.
You don't need me to tell you that.
Yeah, but it's such a hurdle for people, absolutely. And
again,
and
I think it's a personality thing.
Yeah, I think it's really funny about this particular story because it happened a few weeks after my TED talk, my TEDx talk that I did, it hasn't come out yet. So there's no way that this guy could have seen it.
All right.
But it's literally part of my TED talk that I say that this is something, once I started saying I'm a golfer, then I really showed up a lot more with a lot more intention. It's part of my talk.
Yeah.
And so then to walk into this new environment for me and have him say, are you a golfer? I was like, did you see were you in the audience that day?
Like,
it was really, it was a bizarre moment. But I love that he asked that question because it gave me the opportunity to test myself. I was like, oh yeah, this is the moment when I actually prove what I have been saying. So yeah, but I really think that this is a key thing that and we qualify it so much. I'm sure you see this so much
all the time
in beginning golfers that they're hesitant to claim it. And where do you think that's coming from?
But they're hesitant to claim everything.
Right.
When they're first like showing up to any part of golf in general, they're just scared. They're just hesitant. They're just nervous. Again, I think there's so much chatter that's happened in their own head about what they think and how they think they should show up and if they belong. I think the belonging space is it's huge, and I think it'll also just take time to break down the barrier that any and everyone is allowed to show up to golf. And maybe the stigma of the sport for generations has not been extremely welcoming. The times are changing. But again, if you, Kim, had nobody in your circle that played golf, you've only seen it on TV, and you've maybe only heard it at work, and predominantly it's all been by men. So you would just assume you cannot go to a golf course, nor would you be able to show up because no one's ever said, hey, why don't you come with us? Hey, have you ever tried? No one's engaged in a conversation, anything to do with you and golf. So of course in your head, you don't think that you belong in this sport. So we're, myself and others that are like women teaching the sport, we're trying to slowly break that stigma down, but also creating space and creating fun events to welcome women. Like I was telling you before we went live, that I did this Masters Mingle event on Monday because it's Masters Week. And I, for one, did an event that had not nothing. The event wasn't promoted as a golf event. It was a Masters Mingle. Okay, so Masters is a golf tournament and Mingle means I'm going to be talking. And then when you read the description, it was more so come meet other women. You have 2 hours to hit in an indoor simulator bay. Yeah. It kind of says like there's no lessons. You can hit as much or as little as you want. And there will be like a curated mingle session, which I lead.
Nice.
So what you're going to definitely leave with is for sure mingle, and then how you show up that day on you wanting to swing, on how embarrassed are you, what was your chatter before you showed up. That was what I was like observing to understand like how are women going to come? And some came very reserved, as I had already imagined. They sat by the bar. They waited for their comfort friend who had invited them. And then they both went to a simulator together. A few other women who kind of have already had a relationship with me, maybe come to my events before, they came straight to me with a goal. This one lady came to me, my driver sucks. That's how she said hi to me. And I said, well, hello to you too. How's it going? And she said, I can't get it out, classic. I can't, it doesn't go far, it doesn't go straight, and it doesn't go high in the sky. So then I'm like, let me see what you're doing. So what a mixed bag. Very specific, very direct. She knew exactly. She came to this event maybe for the mingle, but she read 2 free hours of sim time, and she gets to have a coach that's there.
So she's claiming it. That is somebody who's going to improve then, because she has claimed it as something that she wants.
She was determined.
And she's determined. And she's going to solve this problem of like, okay, I need to fix this part of my game because it's important.
98% of the other women never asked me once to come to the hitting bay to watch them swing.
Too embarrassed.
I even said to them in the mingle portion, I'm around. Just wave at me, flag me down if I'm talking to someone. If you want me to see something in your swing, happy to help you out. And then I always tell everyone, if you're at the range and if you want me to like see one of your swings, you've come to one of my events, I'm more than happy for you to DM me your swing and I quickly leave you a voice note. Hey, move your left foot here, do your right foot here. Quick little tip, fixer-uppers.
Yeah.
Instead of a full lesson. I'm happy to do that because I want to always give back to the sport. Mm-hmm. But you won't believe it, not many women take me up on that. The guys, absolutely.
Okay, so what's that about? Because that is so interesting to me that you noticing a gender difference in there. I'm not surprised, but I want to
people I don't even know who they are. I have no clue who they are.
Yeah.
And I can even just pull up my phone and show you the DMs. They're random guys. Watch your YouTube video, love it. Yeah. Hey, really quick, I want to show you how I'm getting on. How crazy. I'm absolutely. So I sometimes when I have time, I click on it and I'm that ball went dead straight. Congratulations, or whatever. Coach, I'm still working. So then they engage a little bit and then I kind of fizzle out and go to the next person. But women don't send it to me. And I think.
What do you think's going on? Yeah.
I think that, again, we have so much more chatter in our head than men do.
Right.
And I don't know
about
if it's
about looking foolish, about not knowing
all
what we're
things.
doing.
I don't want to bother her.
Yeah, that.
Is she going to tell me that I need to pay? All this random questionnaire in our head before we even start is insane. I have 2 brothers, so I know the chatter in the head because they don't have any of it. They just show up to things unaware, not prepared because. Maybe it's and you're the doctor, so maybe you can guide us on this. I don't know if it's just a thing, in a chemical balance of just women are just more seen as nurturers and we're just more just trying not to push any crazy boundary. But then some women have that spark in them where that woman came directly to me and said, boom.
Fix my driver.
Yes. But she would have never done that 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Right? So she's been working on this for 3 years, right?
Yes. So now she's been to a couple of my events. She feels super comfortable. I have let her know, shoulders down, come to me, that.
Yeah.
And then the other women that were there, still I'm hey, happy to introducing them. Tell me about your golf journey. Where are you? And every single one downplays everything. So if I compare that to business,
right?
Don't you think we do the exact same thing in a boardroom table this?
Yeah.
I think we use all these very soft,
qualify.
Yes, soft words, nothing super direct to the point because I guess. Traditionally, maybe you were seen as, don't mess with her because she's woken up on the wrong side of the bed. All these different things.
Too strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that definitely golf exposes people's personalities. And if you ever want to see how someone's going to behave with you in business is the rule that they always say, see how they play golf with you. Because if they're cheating with their score, they're going to cheat you in business. If they are smashing their club and throwing it in the water, their temper is insane. So if, God forbid, you did business with them and something didn't go their way, they're going to throw a hissy fit. There's so many personality exposures, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
The golf will show you.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. I'm wondering about the belonging piece too. We sort of touched on that a minute ago. And I mean, for me, I never felt like that was a place where I belonged because my dad was the golfer growing up, but it was something that he did with his buddies at work. He would play in the tournaments with the guys at work. It was all very male coded and it just wasn't something that I thought had anything to do with me. It just didn't even occur to me or anyone else in my family that me or my sisters would play golf. It was something that my dad did. And I don't think that I'm alone in this.
1,000% you're not.
I feel like this is a big barrier for a lot of women. And because the other thing that I noticed is that I always thought that, as I started to get into golf, it's a lot. I go to the driving range and it's mostly men there. And I'm on the course and it's mostly men. And I realized at one point, not only did I think that it was going to be mostly men at these places in the clubhouse, driving range, everything. I also thought it would be men who are good at golf. And they're not all good.
Absolutely not.
This is the thing.
Yeah,
but when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, I was actually thinking that not only do I not belong because I'm not a man, but I'm also not good at golf like all these guys are good at golf.
Until you play with them.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what?
But I go to the driving range and there's some really ugly swings there.
Oh,
and
that's insane.
No, it's so interesting how we think because we're the beginner, we don't, and everybody else has this all figured out and they're good at it and they're not like us. They don't look like me, like all of that kind of stuff. So how can we get over that piece?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, I guess just if you show up to a driving range like you did, I think that'll be the first step where you will very fast see that, again, my rule is everybody sucks at golf.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it's a hard sport. So we all at some point just really suck, or we have like really shitty shots and some like good shots, you know? So one of the things which you said earlier of like belonging, well, I can echo exactly what you're saying, because I always thought that I, Shayain, played the sport. I could never teach the sport. I didn't even think there was an opportunity or a space ever where that was an option for me.
Right.
Because how many women golf pros on a golf course at a driving range do you see?
Yeah.
There's not many of us,
not many,
right?
Yeah.
And so and maybe now there's a lot more than
it's
even
changing.
when we were younger. There was like literally like hardly any. Maybe 1 out of 100 in like in spaces. So again, if you don't see yourself in a place, I was just going
to say you didn't see yourself in that role because there wasn't an example.
Anyone to see anyone there for me to understand that. So again, it was always like I played the sport. I just didn't even think there was a teaching option.
So we all have our limits, right? Like we all in our minds.
Yes.
They're not real limits.
They're not,
but we do create these limits and
of what that looks like,
and then adhere to them. Because that's just, it feels like it's just the rules. It feels like that's the way that it is.
No one's invited you to come out. Like if you were at work again, none of the guys spoke to you and said, hey, want to come and try this with us?
Right.
They only kind of commingled amongst themselves to like be like, let's, and again, they all suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
they're
like,
not good at it either.
And I think again, so many women that come to me, I have asked them, okay, you've now had lessons. You have now maybe come to a few of my events and done the clinics, but have you been on the golf course? No, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who told you that? I forgot. Like, who said that you weren't good enough to go? She's like, no, you've seen my swing. It's not good enough. So in our heads, and I know this for a fact because I just like know. I can't prove it scientifically because I don't know how to prove it. I just know in our heads, we think that our golf swing needs to be as good as the pros.
Because that's the example that's right in front of our face.
In order for us to show up for a charity golf day, if your boss ever invites you to come out to play, if a client invites you to come out to play, which is why I transitioned from working in professional sports to teaching, because whenever I worked in professional sports, I never saw any women come to a charity golf day because I played in my younger age. I always said, I'll come. And they're like, oh, you play? They never invited me to play. But I inserted myself in the conversation to be like, oh, I've seen that you guys have skipped work 4 days in a row this summer. I want to come to one of those. And then that's when like, wait, you play? And then they saw that I was pretty decent. They're like, oh, she's the ringer, bring her. Then I kind of got like, then you kind of wiggle your way in like corporate world on that side. So a lot of women that work in finance, insurance, they come to me because they're like, oh, the guys skip work and they're always going and taking clients out, but that's my business that they're also taking away from me. I need to learn the sport.
Right.
So I think
they have to, but they have to, and you had to, nobody was inviting you. Nobody was knocking on the door being like, oh,
come play, or even asking.
But we all do that too, right? We wait to be chosen. And that is ingrained in us too from school, like picked for the team or invited to come up or invited to do this or whatever. So we wait to be chosen.
Always.
And we sit back. But this really, to learn a new thing, to step into a new world and as an adult, you can't wait to be chosen. You have to choose yourself.
Yes.
And then invite yourself.
Show up. Show up.
Yeah.
And if all your millions of followers are watching, I empower you to, even if you've never played golf and you get invited to play, just say yes.
Yeah.
You will figure everything else out. You will binge a bunch of YouTubes, which is usually how people find me.
Yeah.
They even write it in the comments. I've just binged a bunch and you've called me out.
Right.
And I'm like, absolutely. And you will figure it out when you get there. You're going to be extremely uncomfortable, which we all are. Even people that even men that are invited that have never been, they are uncomfortable too, because a lot of people haven't been to a private country club. A lot of people haven't been exposed. A lot of men haven't been exposed to golf either. We always assume that men have been.
We do assume this.
So it's a big assumption, but a lot of guys come to me for lessons and they don't go to other men. And I personally think it's because it's much easier for them to connect to a woman and not be embarrassed with another guy on how bad their shots are. If they don't know something, they just know that I won't make fun of them, or they won't feel, their ego won't be as hurt if they come to me. So I do actually have a lot of men that come and get lessons because, again, business, finance,
there's so
all
many
of
reasons.
them that are there. And a lot of people want to like play with their dad, but they're like, dad maybe never took them out to play. It's so interesting, like all of on how you get invited and how you show up to golf. I feel like everyone has a different journey and a different story on how that is. And then after that, we're all creating our own stories of if I should show up, if I shouldn't show up. And when I show up, I'm going to embarrass myself. That's just like the statement that everyone just has.
But I think you said something really interesting about the discomfort. So, because you said it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that is just getting
anything
comfortable.
New.
Anything new. Getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is such a key skill to cultivate, because anything new that you want to try in this world, in this lifetime, is going to be uncomfortable right at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Like there's just no way it's not going to be.
You can't escape it.
Yeah.
So either you practice it at home on how that feels, I don't know, or you go and just put yourself in the situation and see if you're like able to adapt to it. And the best example I can give you, maybe it's not as hard for the older generation. This is an example I'll give you, but it's this device. So in golf courses, especially if you go to private golf courses, the cell phone, they don't want you to use in the clubhouse or where you're eating. You cannot take a phone call. So forget that. Your phone better be on silent, hidden somewhere. But if you get invited, for example, I'm a member at a private country club and I'm like, Kim, I want you to be my guest. And I invite you. And you've never, let's say, been to a country club. So now you're Googling, what do I wear? How do I show up? If I haven't already told you how to, like what to wear and things. So you are panicking and you're showing up. I'm running late. So I tell you, go ahead. Please, help yourself. Everyone's going to be in the clubhouse. Grab a drink. Wait for me. So the panic in the millennials and the Gen Zers and all of that is to hide behind your phone. To text you, to be like, how far are you? Or like for you to text me, how far are you? Are you coming? Where do I go? I don't know what I'm doing. Or to scroll the web. Because that just is our new comfort, is to go in and to hide behind a screen, because we haven't necessarily been taught to feel the uncomfort moments, or just genuinely just sit and people watch. Or just sit and just do nothing. Like that's no longer it's almost like a privilege to do nothing now without like pulling out a phone and doing that. And that golf will expose you. Golf will expose it, because on a golf course, of course, they don't want you to have cell phones and to talk on a phone, any of that.
So it just ramps up the discomfort even more.
Discomfort level of you just sitting there waiting for somebody without a cell phone is what golf is. So that is like step one of discomfort, right? That's without even swinging a golf club. So you have to learn how to sometimes be in those situations, and the sport might require you to, because you're boss is going to maybe people run late. It's like very normal, and they're going to tell you where to go and how to get there. But now you have to wait, and you can't embarrass your boss by pulling out your phone, or your client, God forbid. Like you don't want to lose that deal, because now you can't sit by yourself for 4 minutes to stare out into the window or small talk with a random person. So all skills that we're learning.
But it's so worthwhile.
Oh yes.
It's good. I wanted to talk a little bit about age.
Yes.
Because this comes up to not just, again, not for golf, but with so many things. People, I want to know if you hear people say, I'm too old to learn this, or, some variation of that. I would love to hear about that.
Okay, I have like tons of stories about age. I get a lot of it either emailed to me because they've watched a video. Or in the comments. In the comments there, if they're 65 and above, they're very proud to tell me which I love.
Yeah.
I am 72 and watched your videos and I didn't think I could do it, but I think I'm going to try. And those like
That's
comments.
so good. Yeah, that's so good.
That I'm like, oh, I got to keep going with the stupid YouTube thing.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
kidding. It's like, I got to keep going. But mostly what happens is when people, let's say in their 40s, come to me, oh, I'm too old. I miss my whole youth to try this. Or someone that's like 54, like, I'm starting too late. They just come to me like, just like everything sucks in the world. I'm starting too late. I don't know if I can do this. And then I always tell them, unless you're 75 and you've come to me on my YouTube channel, there's literally women at 75 trying this for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're nowhere close to even that age. How can you tell me you're too old?
Right.
And right away they stop. They get the club back out. Okay, how do I do this again? Yeah. So it's like perspective, right? It's just like helping them understand that this is the beauty of golf is that you can be 6 years old or 60 years old and you can both play together. You can't do that in basketball. You can't do that in tennis. Anything that requires like a physical golf has physical body, but maybe running movement at the age at some point, if you have knee, hip, whatever that hurts, is going to be limitation at a certain age where you can't proceed any longer. I will give you the best example ever. Hosted a golf retreat last year in Greece.
Okay, nice.
I had beautiful spice. I had a 21-year-old male who was a college golfer, ex-college golfer. Okay. Came on this trip.
Nice.
I had an 85-year-old lady who has been playing golf. I think she told me she started maybe in her 50s and she said it was too late also. She's like, I finally tried it. So I had the 21-year-old and the 85-year-old paired up together because they were, I would say, the more skilled players in the group. So a lot of the people that come on my golf retreats are like very beginner golfers, what I would consider heavy beginner golfers.
Okay.
I mean, the college player obviously is a college player, so he's had skill. And the 85-year-old, she belonged to a country club and she plays like 3 or 4 days a week. She carries her own golf bag.
Well done.
4 days a week.
Oh my God.
In the Vancouver rain.
Oh.
And she walks.
Oh, not
And
even
I
a
was
cart.
like-
Nice. Well
So when I shared this story, and all of us young ones, we would sit like when we would have dinner every evening. We would sit and we would just want to know, like, you know, everyone wants to know what's the secret to living a healthy, what we consider a young 85-year-old life.
Active,
vibrant. You're walking. You're in Greece and it's like 30 degrees and you're doing like laps over us. She played 3 rounds of golf. The rest of us decided to opt out, play 2 rounds and go.
Go to the pool?
No, take a boat out in Greece and enjoy our, have our best Greek like life out on the boat. And so we would, pick her brain. Some people are like, what's your skincare routine? She does not look 85. I swear if you look at her, she looks like she's 65.
So, but what did she say? Was her secret? Did she have any secrets to reveal?
No, she was just saying, there's some quote about like, I forget the quote that she said, but she said, the day when you really want to eat the ice cream and you're like, no, not today, I'm not going to do it. She said, eat the ice cream.
Oh.
That's kind of been her motto. Like, don't wait because you never know if that time's going to come. And I guess she's in a phase in her life where maybe a lot of her friends have passed.
Yeah.
And they always just said, no, I don't want to I don't want to eat that ice cream. I want to live longer. She's like, one thing I did take from her, which I was like, wow, you're actually incredible. She's in the gym 3 days a week.
Oh my goodness. Amazing.
She does, I think she does all of them are classes. And so she does there's a weight training and maybe spin class or something, but it's heavily in the weight training. And the more I've been reading and the more I've been listening to podcasts, as we all do, there's for women specifically, weight training is really important. And I don't think we were ever taught that as kids because I always think about Serena Williams and everyone said she was too big. Her muscles are like a man. She looks like XYZ, all these things. They were going hard on Serena. And in my head, I'm like, she looks incredible.
Amazing
I wish I had her body. I wish I was moving and hitting as hard as her. But media had created this narrative on what
the perfect female body
Yes.
is like. Yeah.
And so that is something she told me at 85. She's in the gym 3 days a week, and she definitely does group classes because she loves to be around
She
people.
likes the social element. Yeah, I think knowing yourself and your preferences and your preferred way of showing up and learning something new is really important. So if you like to be around people, then yeah, doing it with other people is going to be
It's going to be important.
key.
And I'm going to tell you this last thing she told us
Yeah.
on this trip. She said that she was really scared to come to this golf retreat.
Mm.
And I'm like, so obviously we're all like quiet.
Yeah.
Also, she came with her daughter who's 65, or 60, I think, which I love. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm obsessed with both of you. And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to, like, it was last day and everyone was saying like, one thing that they learned or liked or whatever.
Yeah.
She just said that I was really scared to come, not because of the golf or the destination. It all was beautiful, because I didn't think you guys would accept me.
Oh.
And not all of us with tears in our eyes the last day. And we're like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, yeah, I just felt like I was too old to show up to a golf retreat. And I knew everyone was going to be much younger to me. And I just didn't think you guys would accept me. So even at her age, the acceptance factor to show up in a space, she plays 4 days a week at her country club, but to show up in a brand new environment and again, she's going to think she's not good because her whole life that she's been, so she told me, so I'm not very good. I'm like, you can't actually say that. I have people that have picked a golf club up for the first time today in Greece.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not doing. So like I was giving her all the encouragement to be like, you are great. Like, you know what I mean? So it's everyone has a story. Everyone has the self-belief or not the belief.
Yes.
And I think that that's the beauty of having coaches in your life or teachers in your life or someone like you who's doing all this amazing content out to give people the encouragement that maybe they never received as a child or as an adult. And I think more so when we're adults, no one is giving us the really nice compliments. No one is encouraging us. No one is... As kids, maybe, your mom or whoever teaches you, oh, good job, honey, pat in the back. But as an adult, when's the last time someone said, Kim, incredible work on like all the content, how hard you're working with 2 kids. Like, you know what, let me give you your flowers now because you're giving people online a space to come to get the confirmation that they belong, that they can show up for the next person, that they are great, how to show up in their best like self, wherever they're going. Could be the grocery store.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's even hard for people to show up, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever new
that
thing
is.
or stepping outside of your comfort zone. Because we are all hardwired to want to stay inside our comfort zone because our primitive minds are very happy with that. And that's so interesting about her talking about acceptance because, I mean, that's a huge thing for us. We are social creatures, even the introverts among us. Like we want to be accepted by the tribe, by the group. We don't want to get kicked out and have to survive on our own, right? Yeah. So, I mean, needing approval, needing acceptance, needing to be included, it's just a basic human need. And so trying something new is an act of vulnerability because you might get rejected for that. You might have social rejection and not be accepted by this new group that you are, trying to assimilate into. And so it's such an act of courage. But what I definitely know about confidence, because I think that people wait to feel confident before they go, which I think is what you were talking about with like people, they have maybe done lessons.
Course. Yes.
They've practiced, they've done lessons, but they want to feel more confident before they get to the golf course.
It never comes. It's not a thing.
The confidence is not it doesn't happen before, it happens after.
Correct.
So when you show up for something and you embrace the discomfort and you're like, this is going to feel uncomfortable because it's the first time I'm doing something new. It doesn't mean that anything has gone wrong.
Correct.
This is not a signal to stop. This is a signal
to keep going.
To go. Yes. And then have the trust that, okay, on the other side of this, once I've done this thing, this one first time, then I'm going to get a little boost of confidence and be like, oh, actually, I can do that. Oh, actually, let me look around. Actually, there's all sorts of people here of different skill levels. Some of them were great and some of them not so great. And it's fine. And so not waiting for confidence before you do something new, I think is so key.
I think you've just nailed that.
Yeah.
I think exactly that. Yeah, it's it's all of that. It's all of that. And in my head, I'm almost wondering that when you try something new, do you think that we always just feel uncomfortable? Is that something that we should just like have in our mind, that if you try a new thing because it's new and because you've never done it before, the high chance of you being uncomfortable will be there, and then it's going to be okay?
Yeah, it's going to be okay. Like having the trust. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of anything that anything new that you would try that is worthwhile anyway. You know, not just a trivial thing, but like something significant that could become a really great part and fulfilling part of your life is absolutely going to feel like YouTube. You're a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. The first YouTube videos.
If you go back and look at our first YouTube videos.
Pretty bad.
Yeah,
and
horrible.
Did you feel like comfortable in front of the camera? No, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It feels awful. But you sort of have to have that trust that, okay, it feels really awkward and weird this first time, and watching yourself.
The first 5 times. Yeah, the first 10 times.
Yeah, but each time it gets a little bit easier. It's the same with golf. It's the same with if you wanted to become a public speaker. It's the same if you wanted to write a book. Like whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's going to feel awkward and weird and uncomfortable in the beginning. And if you're claiming it as something that you want this to be your thing, then you keep showing up. And then keep going.
Yeah,
so,
that's actually like, I'm just like thinking out loud as you're like, we're doing this. And I in my head while you were speaking earlier, I'm like, I wonder if for everything we try, we're uncomfortable. And I'm like, it has to be a thing. It just like has to be, you just, how else? Because I feel like when you were younger,
that's what I was going to say.
When we're younger, it has to be uncomfortable because we're, I think, connecting like the cells, right? Like we're trying to create a new
the neural connections.
Yeah. A new path. So like you weren't born knowing how to 2 + 2 was 4.
Right.
Like you had to learn that or learn how to speak. Learned. And it's a journey.
And when you're a kid, this is one of the differences I feel between learning something as a kid and learning something as an adult. When you're a kid, everything is new. Like all of your experiences are new. But we get into adulthood and we've got our, things that we know we can do, things that like identity boxes and roles.
Or someone told you that you couldn't.
Somebody told us that you can or you can't, or this is for you, or you're not that type of person. All that kind of thing.
Yes.
I never felt like an athlete. I was like a reader. I was an academic type of person. I never
people probably made sure they told you that too.
Yes, because it makes the world easy for people to understand if certain people are certain types. And so you internalize that, right? And so that definitely came up for me when I was learning golf. I did not feel like an athlete at all.
Right.
But the first time that I went out on a course and was paired with strangers, these are 2 retired guys, couldn't have been sweeter, so nice. And, I was talking about what I was doing to learn, and they were very complimentary. They were like, oh, you're doing great.
Nice.
Your swing looks really good. Your backswing's excellent. All these things. And then towards the end, it was like the second last hole. And he said, you got it. You keep going because you're athletic and you're going to be just fine. And I honestly stopped walking because I had never heard that before. I had never been told that before, but it was just such a thing. I was like, somebody like the
child in
stranger,
you,
the child in me who never identified as being athletic or an athlete. I had friends who were sporty and they were athletic and that kind of thing. But then and that was definitely a part of, and I know that it's part of my self-talk when I had hit a bad shot, and I'm like, oh, well, of course, because you're not really athletic. This is going to be very hard for you. Yeah. So all these things are in your head. But it is really interesting, juicy territory to start to observe that, because those are the things that will stop you from trying new things.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is.
Absolutely. So I'm here to tell whoever is listening or watching, golf is a sport that I guess some people say that it's not a sport. A lot of people have also made that claim.
Yeah.
Like it's in the Olympics. It's a sport. Everybody. I just need to, first of all, make that known.
Let's make that clear.
Yes. And if you've ever been told that you aren't an athlete and or that you maybe believe that you aren't, or a lot of other women that I know that have started to try golf, they wanted to try it because they didn't want to be sweaty, because they were told maybe younger that like women shouldn't sweat.
Not ladylike.
And when I first heard that, when somebody first told me that, I was like, I'm sorry, like a real human told you this? Like what is happening?
Era.
Yeah, like what? And so I think that I just let's put a disclaimer. You have to be athletic to play this sport, and everyone that plays it is athletic, because it's a combination of movement,
right,
hand-eye coordination,
it's a lot of things.
And most importantly, what's happening in here, the mental game. And eventually you can have so let's talk just golf professionals that are playing on tour.
Yeah.
They have all practiced and grinded this game out and done it since childhood, some since teenage years, whatever that is, many years, many hours, lot of long days, right, have been put into the sport, which is why they're the 0.111%,
right,
whatever, 0% of the world that gets to play this. They are all incredible physical athletes that know how to make hand-eye coordination to hit the golf ball.
Yeah.
Okay. But what differentiates the top 100 players? Like they all have a great swing.
Yeah.
They all have learned how to break it down.
Yeah.
They all know where it's hitting on their club face and what that means in terms of rotation. You're too late, you're too early, you're releasing a million things down the line.
Yeah.
So because they've done so many hours of it, and they have had coaches. No one's just showed up on the first tee as a professional athlete.
I was born this way.
Never been coached, but here I am. Yeah, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So I guess what makes a top 100 different is their belief in themselves.
Yeah.
And going on to the first tee box, the 18th green, the 7th green, you've just had the worst hole in your life. And what is the self-talk on the next tee box to turn the whole thing around? And the mental game at that level ends up being 85% of golf.
Was it Arnold Palmer who said that golf is a game of inches, the most important being the 6 inches between your ears?
If he's the one who said it, genius.
I'm pretty sure.
I swear at that level and at that point, I guess that's probably true for other sports too. Like the self-belief.
Yeah, I think,
and because everyone that's put in the time, I think more specifically maybe for golf, because I don't know any other sport that you can play 5 really bad holes and then play 5 incredible holes and still be in the mix.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Because like even in football or in basketball, if you have like a 40-point lead, it's, I think, nearly impossible for anybody else or any other team to catch up to you. I mean, we have seen, massive deficits and people coming up, but that's like, once every 20 years or whatever you hear of this like unbelievable score. But that happens a lot in golf.
Yeah.
Like you actually don't know who's going to win. And it's just how exciting. Does that person show up for 4 days in a row? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days in a row, you have to show up with incredible mental strength. So you could be in the lead on Thursday, Friday, and then be too confident, too relaxed because you're too much in the lead. And the lead goes away. And the person who was maybe 20th is like, I'm going to channel and everything's going to click. And whatever that self-talk or self-belief is that I'm about to win this. And then they win it.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say to somebody who is that golf is their beginning thing?
Yeah,
they're just starting. They're feeling all the barriers. They feel like they're too old. They're the wrong gender. They didn't have the right things
in life.
Yeah, all of those things. But
everything's against them.
Everything's against them, or that's how it feels for sure. And so, what would you say in terms of like showing up and how to overcome that stuff in order to go forward?
I love this question. If you have a friend or anyone, if you have somebody, a child, a friend, a coworker, anyone that will listen to you for even 2 minutes, and you have the option of asking somebody else to join you for a lesson, is how I would first start.
Yeah.
So first, in your direct circle of maybe direct circle or direct circle, however you live your life, of anybody that you've, at a networking event, whatever it is, oh, I've really wanted to play golf. Oh, me too. exchanging numbers, and then following up and then booking a lesson. I think that is an easy way to start the game. Yeah. Let's say you don't have anybody. You've moved to a new foreign country. We both love the UK. You've moved to the UK and you know 0 humans there. Yeah. And you want to take up a hobby and you want to take something on, and golf is the thing that you want to take up. Now you know nobody. So the first thing I would do is I would just go online and look for the closest driving range or golf course in my area. Right. And I would pick up the good old phone and or search the web and like search their website and see if they have group lessons.
Yeah. And so the similarity there with bring a friend or join a group lesson, I feel like that mitigates the thing of like being exposed, being vulnerable, being the outsider, trying to like, because that triggers our primitive brain. Like it's not a good thing. Yeah. So you don't need that extra layer of discomfort onto what you already have.
Yeah, you're going to create enough of the background in your head to like tell yourself you're not supposed to go. Yeah. You are going to take care of that. So why don't we just make sure? But I think the lesson is important. And I think it's important because, again, in the beginning we spoke, you're paying.
Yes.
So you're not going to let that money.
In the game.
And there's a time. A date,
structure,
and a person like a coach or someone that's replied back to you that's like kind of expecting you to be there. Yeah, and I think that as humans, we like most of us will feel bad to cancel.
Yeah, you don't want to let people down.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's that accountability piece. Totally.
That's one piece. Another piece is if it's a finance reason that people, maybe you don't want to, it just becomes cheaper when you bring a person or you join a group lesson, automatically that number just decreases. Yeah. And then if you want to take it one step further, maybe after you've had your first lesson, you would then say, okay, what do you have like a group of 6 lessons? And I think that is your next step to not giving up on the thing you first try because you're going to feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But you give it 6 more tries and then you can make a decision.
Right. Yes. But helping yourself to get past that initial, like just that discomfort and just make that commitment to yourself. I think it's important. That's so key.
But I think that having the 5 or 6 or 4 lessons after will show you that how scary the first one was, you're going to walk a little bit with more of a pep in your step because now you kind of know where you're going, where you're going to meet your coach. Yeah. You know where you're parking. You know where you're meeting your coach. You know what that hour will look like. And most coaches, if you don't have golf clubs, will have golf clubs that they're more than happy to bring. Right. So again, the massive investment or again, so many layers in golf, right? That you don't know I don't know if I want to keep going. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on golf clubs. Well, you don't have to. Just ask your coach if you can rent or borrow clubs. Start that way. That is like the least, I guess, financial heavy way of like getting into it to test the waters out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that confidence comes afterwards.
Correct. The confidence sometimes goes away in golf and comes back. And if you have a really good shot, or if someone in your first round says, you're an athlete, you will be fine. What a non-golf swing space to get the confidence from. Usually it's like, oh, great bomb. What a great putt. What a great But yours was straight up, you're an athlete. And you're like, I am an athlete.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Awesome. I have absolutely loved every minute of this conversation, Shayain. This has been so good. Thank you so much for talking to me about all this stuff. It's been great.
Thank you for having me on your podcast. What great questions. And also helping me reminding myself when people show up that they are, everyone's just a bit scared to come there. And just like reminding me of just making sure that I always create a safe space for everyone that comes. So thanks for having me.
Awesome.
I've loved it.
I think what this conversation really highlights is that learning something new isn't just about acquiring a skill. It's about expanding who you see yourself as. And that process is almost always uncomfortable at first. But that discomfort isn't a sign that something has gone wrong, it's often a sign that something is changing. And the more willing you are to stay in that space just a little longer than feels natural, the more you start to become someone who can actually do the thing that you once thought wasn't for you. And if this is something that you have been struggling with, then this is exactly the kind of work that I focus on here on my channel. So make sure that you're subscribed. And if you happen to be interested in learning or improving your golf game and you haven't subscribed to Shayain's channel yet, then definitely do that too. I will see you in the next video.
Do you want this random can in it?
Good point. No, I don't. Maybe we can stick it under the table.
Or...
Can we get rid of those?
Yeah. Do you see us struggling here? I don't know what to do with it. I was like, thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.